My name is P. Srinivasrao. Today I would like to explain one more new topic on uh, Unit 1 MPMC subject. Uh, Up to yesterday's presentation, we have seen different topics of 8086 microprocessor applications, block diagram, memory organization, programming model, memory segmentation, signal description of 8086, like that we have seen. And now I am explaining the programming part. In the programming part, I was explained what is the structure of the instruction, in how many ways the instruction can be written is called instruction format, and addressing modes also we have seen. uh, there are 6 general formats of instruction. So what is an instruction? We know that instruction is a command. So that command can be written as 1 byte command, or the instructions can transfer data register to register, because 8086 internally having a register set. So how data can be moved from register to register, how data can be added or subtracted the contents of these registers is known as register to register instruction format. And you know that instructions are the data stored in memory, and how to call the data from the memory, or how can you write the data from register to memory. Memory is available external, so with some addresses, and that address concept is called as with displacement and without displacement. And sometimes the source operand in instruction is having 2 parts, source operand and destination operand. Sorry, opcode and operand, and these operands are 2 types again: source operand and destination operand. Sometimes the source operand may be immediate operand, so this immediate operand also may be stored in register or may be stored in a memory, and this memory may be 8-bit displacement or 16-bit displacement. Right. So here you can see that this is the structure of the program, and this green color, all are called as the instructions. And in this instruction here, move is called opcode, and AX and data are called as operands, and these two operands are separated by comma here. So here AX is the register and AX is the data segment address location that we will see later. And here this brackets indicates address. Right, how much address? If you do not mention this address value of SI, it will take by default 16-bit displacement, because SI is the source index register and its storage capacity, register storage capacity is in terms of 16 bits. So that is what we call the 16-bit displacement. So this concept we have seen yesterday. Right, so and today I want to explain how to write those instructions. That concept is called as assembly directives, and along with that I want to explain 2 more topics: macros and types of instructions here. Right, so see this diagram of the computer. It's called most abstraction of the computer design. So here we are having 2 parts. One is called software part, another one is called hardware part, and between this hardware and software part we are having compiler, and we will see what is this compiler. And in 8086 microprocessor level, what is the name of this compiler today we are going to see. And here the sequence of commands, we know that a sequence of commands is called as program, and a set of programs are called as the package. Today we are all learning some of the software packages, and those software package is a combination of programs, and each program is having combination of instructions, and this instruction is called as a command here. uh, Do that, don't go where, these are all called commands. And these commands basically return in terms of machine code in the beginning of computers, from the day of computers inventions, because computer is a digital device that can understand only machine level language. And later on, this machine level language is not easy to remember, so they have invented one more new language of the processor dependent, is called as the assembly level language. Here assembly level language means this language, as the programs are easily human understandable and easily written, so easy to remember, so that's why they are called as assembly level language programming. And this assembly level language program to machine level language, we need an assembler. It's called a translator also, that we will see. See here, a compiler converts the source code written by the programmer to a machine language. An assembler converts this assembly code into the machine code. So then what is the difference? Both are converting only. Then this compiler converts high level language to low level language. The assembler converts assembly level language to machine level language. So here between hardware and software, here we are having two compilers or converters known as compiler and assemblers. So see, basically there are three types of machine language. So being the students will always confuse what are the software languages. Software languages means either C, C++, Java. Only these are called software languages? No. Right. Basically, we're having three kinds of programming languages: mission level language, assembly level language, and high level language. These are the three main languages. And C, C++, Java are called as high level language. Here you can see that. So this high level language is having English like statements and symbols and are independent of the type of the computer we are using or independent of the processor we are using. Whereas here between this high level language and the machine level language, we are having one more intermediate language called assembly level language. So this assembly level language is using half part of machine level language instructions and half user level language instruction. That's why it is called, it exists between machine level language and high level languages. Machine level language means here mission means computer understandable. So computer understands zeros and ones here. So that's why here the assembly level language is little easier than machine level language, but not much. So it uses more convenient numbers, symbols, and abbreviations to describe the huge strings of ones and zeros. Instead of writing every instruction in terms of zeros and ones, so that way has been minimized into hexadecimal numbers. And again, some of the hexadecimal numbers and some level can be written in terms of move, ADD, like that, and completely user understandable levels. That is what we call the assembly level language. Whereas this machine level language means it is the language of machines consist of bits put together into chunks like bytes, a group of 8 bits, and lot of larger sizes. So it means you can in one line, if I say that machine level language means computer understandable language. So here we are talking about assembler level directive. Suppose you see, for example, so we all know that what is the structure of the C language. So what is the structure of the C language? You see here, every program of C language will start with the hash include stdio.h. So what is this hash include stdio.h? Is it a part of programming or a part of instruction set? No. Right, then what is the hash include stdio.h, hash include cynio.h? So the main program is starting from main, right, into main and main, and it is closing with this closure brackets. This is what we call the program actually. But to direct this program to use whatever the numbers we are using, whatever instructions we are using, so that will be given by these two libraries or header files called hash include stdio.h and hash include cynio.h. Stdio means standard input output. Cynio means console and input output. So that's why here these are called assembler directives or compiler directives. So why it is called as assembler compiler directives? Because high level language program to machine level language will be converted by the compiler. See here, hash include is a pre-processor directive is used to paste code of given file into current file. So it directs what to do, how to do, in what way, how I can add the numbers will be given by this hash include. And one more also very familiar one is if statement and if else statement. If condition is true, it executes the code until condition is true. It is also an assembler directive. So like that, in the programming or outside of the program also, we can write some assembler directives here. So that's why this is also one more example. Here we are using if statement. Right, this is the example of our program. So this program is having three statements. Every program will having at least one assume statement. This assume statement is same like your include statement that we will see later. Next one, in every program will have at least one data segment, right? And sometimes this data segment may be a null character also, because here In the programming itself, you can write down the code segment itself. You can write down the program using immediate operand addressing mode. Right. So here this program is having assume statement, data segment, and code segment. So this is the structure of the program, and this is the proper way of writing the program here. So assembler directives here. So assembler and compiler. What is assembler, compiler? These are also called translators. Right. See here. So assembly level language program, not only assembly, any hardware level or high level language program also are comprised of two types of statements or instructions. One is the instructions which can be translated to machine code by the assembler. Right. Second one, the directives that directs the assembler during the assembly process for which no machine code is generated. Right. So here machine code is generated only for the instructions which are written the program of machine level or assembly level. And here some of the instructions they don't have any machine code, but it directs what to do and what not to do. So that's why here there are two types of instructions. Here I am giving one example. Suppose we have a movie, right? In the throughout movie of 2 to 2.5 hours of movie, right, what we are seeing on the screen, silver screen, we are seeing only along with some characters, we are seeing only hero and heroine, and these are all playing an important role in the movie. But to act that 2.5 hours of movie, who directed that hero and heroine, how to act and when to dance, when to cry, when to smile, and when to fight, and all these things will be directed by this director. So here the assembler directors acts like a director of the movie, and the instructions which can be plays an important role to create one application or one thing is now done by the heroine, and these are called as assemblers. So here the assembler directives are instructions. These are all instructions, but for these instructions, no machine code will be generated. So the assembler directives are instructions entered into the source code along with the assembly language, but these are all called pseudo instructions. Right? What is pseudo instructions? They do not get translated into object code, but are used as special instructions to the assembler to perform some special instructions. Right. So the directives control the generation of the mission code and organization of the program. Right. They will completely control. They will have the complete control on programming. Right. But they do not generate any mission code. Okay. So some popular assembly directives in our program, if you go through program also, assume statement, offset, DWDB, segment, E&A. These are all very popular assembly directives which we will use on our programs. So we will see what these popular directives and remaining directives also. So basically directives are 9 types of directives are there. Right, data definition and storage allocation directives, program organization directives, program alignment directives, program how to end the program is called program end directive. Next, value returning attribute directives, procedures and macros directives, data control directives, and header file inclusion directive like hash include in our C language. So these are all different types of directives we are using in our program. See, data definition and storage allocation. We all know that microprocessor is running by the machine code or binary level language code or digital language, digital bits. So that's why here data also will be written in terms of bits and bytes. So here byte means 8 bits. So 2 bits is called 16 bit. But do you have any name for representation of 2 bytes? Do you have any name for 4-byte representation? Do you have any name for 10-byte representation? Is known as data definition and storage allocation directives. Right. So here DB, DW, DT, DQ, DD are called as data allocation directives. DB stands for defined byte. So in our program, how to write the DB, right? And that you will see. But DB means byte. Byte means 8 bits. So here I have written, for example, 1 to H. 1 to H. Here H means hexadecimal. Hexadecimal means each character or each number will be an equivalent of 4 bits. So 1 is 4 bits and 2 is one more 4 bits. So totally 8 bits. So 35H is also 8 bits. So 8 bits is called as byte. So to define this kind of data values, we need DB. Suppose if it is DW, define word. Define word means 16 bit. Define double word means 4 bytes. DQ, define quad word means 8 bytes. Define 10 bytes. Suppose you want to add 10 byte values. Then how to define that? That can be defined by using DT. Right, so these are all 4 different types of data defining words in 8086 microprocessor programming language. Very, very important for the programming section that we will see once again in the programming. See here I am having the program. So addition of two 16-bit numbers. So here you can see that how to say that add AX and BX means addition of the content of AX with the BX register. But here what is there in AX and BX that we will see. But here I have written num1 DW1111H, num2 DW2222H. See here H stands for hexadecimal. So how many digits and how many decimal values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 ones and 4 twos are there. Each value is 4 bits. 4 bits means totally 16 bits. So I have 16 bits means 2 bytes. 2 bytes means I have to write DW. Suppose I have one more program here. Suppose I am having data 1 DB, right? 03. So 03 means 2 values. So that's why instead of DW I am taking DB. Suppose if I want to take here DW, what should I do? I have take 2 more zeros here, then it becomes 4 values 0003 and 0002. So this is the way of defining data bytes or data defining the assembly directives. So here DB is an assembly directive. It is directing how to defining the data value of 03 and 02. So like that in C language we are having int and float instructions to define the values. Right. You see here one more next one is program organization directive. So this program organization directive is having how to organize the program. So every program can be organized into 3 parts. I told you assume statement, data segment statement and code segment statement. So here data segment is ending by the data ends and code segment is end by the code ends. So here this is what we call how to organize the program into step by step is known as the data organization attribute directive, right? So it has two. One is segment, another one is ENDS statement. So what is segment here? So the segment directive is used to indicate the start of the logical segment. In 8086, memory is divided into 16 logical segment and 60 out of 16 logical segments, 4 segments are used for storage of the different usage. Data segment, code segment, stack segment, and extra data segment are yes. So that's why here I am giving example. So code segment. So here segment is a assembler directive to define the program here, right? The next one is ENDS. ENDS indicates end of the segment. Whenever something is starting, that must be end somewhere. So the when the code segment is start, the code segment must be end. And when data segment start, then data segment must be end by using ENDS. ENDS stands for end segment. So this is also what is a directive to indicate that it is directing. So this is the end of the data segment and this is the end of the code segment like that. Right. So program organization directive, one more is there. Assume statement, very, very important statement. Short notes also they will be asked in the examination. So the assume directive is used to tell the assembler the name of the logical segment. It should be used for a specified segment. It means see here, right? I told in the C language also hash include stdio.h. Right. So here we are writing assume CS code. Right. Assume status code means here it is assuming CS for code segment, assume DS data, assume SS stack, assume ES extra means extra segment, stack segment, data segment, and code segment. How this assembler we'll assume that how the programmer came to know this is so and so segment, so I have to use. So that will be included or that will be assumed by this assume statement. So the assume directive is used to tell the assembler the name of the logical segment it should use for a specified segment. So the 8086 program may have several logical segments. At any time, the 8086 works directly with only 4 physical segments: code segment, data segment, stack segment, and an extra segment. So that's what is called also called program organization directive. Right. So see here, the first line of the program is always assume statement. So assume CS code, DS data. So here it is called as data segment and data ends. So program organization directive tells the assembler that the instructions for a program are in a logical segments named code. Okay, that we have seen. And one more event statement as alignment directives. So align as a even memory address. Align as even memory address. There are two types of memory addresses: even memory and odd memory. So here it is used to indicate the even memory means the first start stack addresses. Right. So align is as even address. The directive even is to inform the assembler to increment the allocation counter to the next even memory address if it is not pointed to the memory location already. So the memory is always incremented by 2. See how 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see difference between this right side even numbers 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. So that's why here to point to that even memory address locations, we are in this event. So this is the example of that event. So ORG. So this is also very important. So ORG means origin. So origin means where to start the address location. So what is the current address location? So that will be indicated by this alignment directive. So ORG. So the directive ORG assigns the location counter with the value specified in the directive. Right. It helps in placing the machine code in a specified location while translating instructions into machine codes by the assembler. So from where and which location I have to start. If you don't initialize with some address, then by default it will take the code segment some default locations. But if you want to start with some known address, so that will be started by using this org address org address. See here, after the code segment, I have written org 1200H. Means the code segment is starting by 1200. This is a known memory location. If you don't want to start with this memory location of 1200, by default it will take the internally it will take some address location of code segment because programs have stored in this memory location. Next one, END. END stands for end program, right? So when the program is start, then definitely that must be ended. So that's why here we're having END. Or sometimes we can write, suppose in the program if write start, see here start, end start. So this is called the end of the program. So that's why here if you don't write start, then you can write END. So this end of the end directory put after the last statement of a program, last end of the program. In C language, we use closure bracket. So, but here we can write easily by the understandable English letter C and D to end of the program. This is also it's called a program end directive. Right. See, you can see in this program end start. Next, value returning attributes. So how to initialize the value? Suppose 10 values, 20 values. Suppose here I am giving items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items I am giving. So what is the length of this 5 items is 5. Okay, so how to initialize that length? Here you can see that move x length of items. So the directive length informs the assembler about the number of elements in a data item, such as an array. If an array is defined with db, if it is defined with db, then it returns the number of bytes allocated to the variable. So if an array is defined with dw, then it returns the number of words allocated. So put in the place of db, if I write dw, then these are all words. The directive length informs the assembler about the number of elements in the data. So here the number of elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 values. So that's why here we can write move x comma length of items. So in the above example, the number of elements assigned as an array are 5. So 5 is the length of items to be stored in AX register. Next, size. Right, size is also same as the length of directive, but here the difference is the directive size is same as length, except that it returns the number of bytes allocated to the data item instead of the number of elements. So the size here will not write only size, and it will also write the data values. See, for example, no x comma size of items, it is the syntax. Right. In the above example, the number of bytes occupied by the array element items are 5. So the 5 is the size of the items which will be stored in AX register. Okay. So the directive offset, this is very, very important. There are three ways to initialize the address of the data stored in the data segment. So that is a move statement, second one is offset statement, and third one is the LEA, load effective address statement. So this offset is called as the assembler directive, whereas LEA, load effective address, and move statement are called as the instructions of the program. Okay, so how to write that one? Here they are giving in syntax move dx comma offset message data segment message db suresh data ends, like that they are giving. But here I want to explain this one. So offset operator is executed by the assembler used with named variables. Address is known to the assembler, so it is used with named variables, and address also already known to the assembler. But in the case of LEA, load effective address instruction, so computes the effective address at runtime. At execution time, it will execute the address. Okay, so that is the difference between LE and offset. So here the how to use this offset in the programming. Move si comma offset num1, move si comma offset num2, where num1 and num2 are stored. Num1 and num2 are stored in data segments. So the data segment address locations it will call by using the offset statement. So why we are using this offset is right in the complete physical address or effective address. We are having two addresses. One is segment address. Second one is called the offset address. Right, this suppose a page, sorry, in the textbook we are having 5 chapters. Each chapter is called as a segment, right? That is called segment address, and each chapter is having internally some pages, and those pages are called as offsets. Right, combination of 5 pages, combination of 10 pages, combination of 20 pages, based on the matter they will be arranged as a chapter. Okay, so that's why here complete address means both we need segment address as well as offset address. So this offset address can be called by using this either move statement or using offset or by using LEA, load effective address instructions. So here how to use this offset, I have given an example. Next, procedures and macros. Sometimes for short notes they will be asked this procedures and macros in the examination. So here how to here what is meant by procedure? See, when we need to use a group of instructions several times throughout a program, there are two ways we can avoid having to write the group of instructions each time we want to use them. Right, sometimes in the programming definitely we will have to write the same instructions number of times. So then instead of writing number of times several times, there are two ways to write the group of instructions. One is using procedures, another one using macros. So what is a procedure here? The procedure is a group of instructions stored as a separate program in the memory, and it is called from the main memory program whenever required using call instructions, and it will be written, it will be finished by using RAT instructions. At the end of the procedure, we use RAT instruction, use it to return the execution to the next instruction in the main program by returning the address from the top of the stack. Okay, see here the procedures is a group of instructions stored as a separate program, and here the procedure can be ended by the RAT instructions. We will see that. And PROC and NP are the two directives, two assembly directives to indicate this procedure. See, PROC is the starting of the procedure. The PROC directive is used to identify the start of the procedure, and ENDP is the end of the procedure. And macro, what is a macro? A macro is a group of instructions we bracket and give a name to at the start of our program. Each time we call the macro in our program, the assembler insert the defined group of instructions in place of the call. Right. So whenever you are calling that macro, so here this will replace the instruction. Suppose here you can see that a simple macro programming. So the simple macro programming here I am giving an example. Move AH comma 01 in 21H and the end of the macro. How to read a macro? Right. Means how to read a character from the keyboard is written by move AH comma 01. So this move AH comma 01 under interrupt 21H is used to read the character. After reading the character, how to display the character is given by display macro. Right? This is the macro name, display macro. This is the name of the macro, read macro. Right? So display macro, if you write, that will read this program. Okay, so move DL comma AL, move AH comma 02 and move in 21H. So under this in 21H, if you write these two instructions, they are used to display the characters of the string or the macro. Right, next macro definition directives. So these are the difference between procedures and macros accessed by call and RAT mechanism during program execution. So how to call and how to end these procedures by using call and RAT instructions, and these macros are some accessed by name given to macro when defining during assembly. So here the macro names are used to write and use to end of the macro. End of the macro will be end by the ENDM. Machine code of instructions only put in memory space. Machine code generate instructions each time called. Right here, the machine code of these processors are stored in memory, whereas these macros are always the machine code will be generated. Right, and the main purpose of this macros here procedures parameters, integers, memory locations are the stack. Procedures take use memory for call and RAT instructions, whereas length of code is very huge if macros are called for more number of times. Okay. Next one, label. So suppose if I want to put some label here, that then I can use this label statement, because every program is also having a label, and that I'll show you in the programming. What is that label? So the label directive is used to give a name to the current value in the location counter. The label directive must be followed by a term which specifies the type of you want associated with that name. That is known as the label statement. So what is